to TUL Music. My name is Salvo. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. And if you like what you watched, you already know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button for the good old algos. And let's get started on today's video.
Okay, it's 2001. The Strokes came out with an album that really changed the scene in rock music. And it was a very, very good album. I mean, I didn't really find anything special about it personally. I couldn't really get into it, but a lot of people really did like it. I discovered this album during like 2009, 2010, something like that, when there were already better indie rock songs out. They started getting more popularity. More bands have come out and emerged, such as the Postal Service, which had their classic hit, Such Great Heights. And that album did really, really well, and that sold hundreds of thousands of copies. And then you go into 2004, where we had Arcade Fire with their big anthem, Wake Up. And then you also got Franz Ferdinand, who came out with Take Me Out, which, by the way, is another underrated band, but this is not what I'm talking about. We, of course, are talking about the Killers now. They got plenty of notoriety. They got plenty of attention. They exploded in the scene with Somebody Told Me, all these things that I've done, and, of course, the biggest hit on that album, Mr. Brightside. It was a big, explosive time for indie music. And then we had some other bands emerge, the Kaiser Chiefs. They actually had a few hits that ended up becoming pretty popular. And then we also had Death Cab for Cutie, who also released Transatlanticism in 2003. But they're mostly known for their big hit, I Will Follow You Into the Dark, off their album Plans, and they also had Soul Meets Body. So why am I talking about indie music all of a sudden? Well, I feel like there were a lot more bands that definitely deserve more attention. You remember Radiohead, right? Back in the 90s. Yeah, they were a pretty cool band, and they've also garnered a lot of influences. You know, they've also influenced Muse, who ended up becoming bigger and bigger and bigger as the decade went on. Muse had their album Absolution, then they came out with 2006 with Black Holes and Revelations, and then we had Uprising in 2009 before they had their big radio hit Madness. So, as you can see, they had their fair wave of success, even though it took them a while to kind of get where they are, where they were becoming completely mainstream. Even their earlier albums still had a cult following. But that's not what I'm going to talk about today. I'm not going to talk about Muse. I'm not going to talk about the Killers. Heck, I'm not even going to talk about Beck. I am going to talk a little bit about Radiohead, though, because they were a major influence on this one band, and that band is the Boxer Rebellion. Oh, man, I was a big fan of them when I picked up their album Exits. That album was released in 2004. And they had this song titled We Have This Place Surrounded, which just had a amazing atmospheric tone to it, and it was absolutely mesmerizing. And I think that album got some airplay. I think it was picked up by a major label, and then they went indie in 2009. They had like a 4-year hiatus. They recorded some tunes in between there, but Apple pretty heavily marketed their album Union. I just decided, why not? I'll check it out. I picked up the free single at the time, which was Evacuate, and it was a really, really cool song. I was absolutely a fan of the drumming, and after several listens, that's when I started picking up Exits, and then later on, I started listening to Union all the way through. Union did take me a while, but honestly, as I listened to the rest of their discography, it grew on me more and more and more. Spitting Fire, Semi-Automatic, Flashing Red Lights, Beans Go. One of my favorite tracks nowadays is Forces off that album. It just, again, it has awesome drumming, but it also had a powerful chorus to boot, which really helps bring out the magic in that album. Even though this band wasn't really talked about by many people, I mean, it seemed like people behind the scenes were really, really digging them. Heck, when their third album came out, David Letterman was promoting them for a whole week.
Right, and their new CD is entitled The Cold Still. Please welcome the Boxer Rebellion, ladies and gentlemen.
If David Letterman was a fan, like, okay, what's going on here? Why aren't people picking up on their music? I mean, like, shoot, The Cold Still, you know, I wasn't really a big fan of the cover art at the time because it kind of ruined this entire pattern they got going, but Step Out of the Car was a great song. it really picked up where they left off from Union. And even though it had much more slower tracks, nothing like from Exits, also had a few good slower tracks like Caught by the Light, which is a good listen if you were like on a rocking chair reading or something. It just kind of gave that atmosphere to it. But then it also had The Runner, which definitely is a much more upbeat tune. But man, I was hungering for that heaviness that I heard from Exits, like from Watermelon, shoot, even some of their B-sides, which by the way, after they released The Cold Still, they started releasing their B-side compilations, which included more of their heavier stuff, like Palisade and Don't Drag Your Dirty Feet and From the Liars, and a really, really cool tune, which was kind of left off of Union, but was released as a bonus track. It's called Broken Glass, and it even had an awesome video accompanying it. But I do want to talk about their fourth album, Promises, because this is when things start to get interesting. They actually started to get a little bit of attention when they released their first single, Diamonds. They actually started to get some popularity. People were starting to notice. It's a really catchy tune. It had like a Joy Division type sound to it. But I also want to highlight the tracks Fragile and Take Me Back, which had more of an electronic sound. But you'll later discover that the frontman, after the Boxer Rebellion kind of took a hiatus in 2019, their frontman Nathan Nicholson started to do more electronic music. And yeah, he's found some success. Honestly, the more I, listen to current Boxer Rebellion music, the more I think Nathan Nicholson's voice is more suited for electronic music. But as much as I love his features in electronic music, I really don't want to leave behind some of the stuff he did with the Boxer Rebellion. Heck, they released a new song last year called Powdered Sugar, and they released a new EP with it to boot. So obviously, he's not leaving the Boxer Rebellion behind. I really miss his heavier stuff, his more indie, more focused drumming stuff from Piers, but I really want to bring attention to this band, guys, which is why I wanted to make this video, because I have followed this band all throughout college, and man, I really talked about as much as I can how much I love this band, but it never really caught on for some reason, and I don't really know what it is. I don't know why these guys just continue to be stuck under the radar. I mean, obviously it doesn't really help that they don't really tour the U.S. very much. They're more in their hometown and other areas of the world, but they did do a really good live album in Tennessee that had an epic version of the Gospel of Goro Adichie, which is around 6-7 minutes long when the original is only like barely even over the 2-minute mark. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, if you dug this band like I did and you are a fan, I hope I helped you discover new music there. If you're a fan of this video, don't forget to hit a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. This is it. This is TUL Music signing out.